Okay, so all of these questions are from the released EOC. So these were on the EOC last year. Students actually did these questions on the EOC, and they released them for us to practice with in preparation for the EOC this year. So the first one here, I wrote down the distance formula because we're going to need it for this problem. So if you want to just jot it down as well. The distance formula is on the reference sheet, just right here, distance formula. So on class 2, just copy it. Okay, let's look at the problem. It says Ashley draws a map of her town on a coordinate grid where each unit represents 1 mile. A pizza shop in the town delivers to any location within a 6-mile radius. So imagine a circle. Middle of the circle is a pizza shop. And then they deliver anywhere within a 6-mile radius, 6 miles. So that would be 6 units because it says 1 unit equals 1 mile. Ashley's house is located at these points and the pizza shop is located at these points. Complete the sentences to describe whether Ashley's house is within the delivery radius of the pizza shop. So we want to know whether Ashley's house is less than 6 units or 6 miles or more than. And the way we can figure that out is with distance formula. We can find the distance between those 2 points and see if it's more or less than 6. So to use the distance formula, I'm going to label my points x1, y1, x2, y2. And then find the distance. Okay, so I'm just going to plug in the numbers into the equation. x2 is 6 minus x1, which is 9. y2 is 7 minus 3 squared. And it doesn't matter which set of points you designate, like the first set and the second set, because distance, whether forward or backwards, is the same. You just have to be consistent in your equation. Okay, and then once you have the numbers plugged in, we are going to solve. So 6 minus 9 would be -3 squared, 4 squared. -3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. And then we get square root of 25. Square root of 25, you could use a calculator if you didn't know it off the top of your head. It's going to be 5 because 5 times 5 is 25. In a calculator, you could just use the square root button and it comes out to 5. That. So her house is 5 units, which it says is 5 miles because 1 unit equals 1 mile. So the shortest distance from the pizza shop to Ashley's house is 5, and then it says miles right there. Then there's a little portion down here. It says, therefore, Ashley's house is within or outside the delivery radius. Well, since it's less than 6, she is within the delivery radius. And if it was equal to 6 miles, it would still be within because it says they will deliver up to 6 miles. Okay, then over here, this has to do with what we've been working on this week. It says complete the statement to describe triangle ABC. The medians, angle bisectors, or perpendicular bisectors of ABC meet at point. Well, they meet at point O, so I could answer that right off the bat. And then what are these? Well, these are going from a vertex to the midpoint of the other side, and it shows that with these little tallies. So this here, not a perpendicular bisector because it's not making a 90-degree angle. If it was an angle bisector, it would be bisecting that angle and it would show the same angle on both sides, so it's not that. They are medians. Medians go from the vertex to midpoint on opposite side, but we'll just vertex to midpoint. Okay, and then this one here, a line segment has an endpoint at 1, 1 and a midpoint at 1, -3. What are the coordinates of the other endpoint? There's a couple ways you could do this. You could graph it. Let's see if I can quickly show it on a graph. So we'll call this point A, we'll call this M for midpoint, and then the other endpoint we'll call point B. So A would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Would be at 1, 1. And then the midpoint is at 1, negative 1, 2, 3. So this is A. This is the midpoint. And then B would be that same amount of units down. So from 1 to negative 3 would be 4. So if I go 4 down, 2, 3, 4. This would be B, which would be at 1, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you could figure it out that way just by graphing. Or you could also figure it out using the math. So if we say A is at 1, 1, the midpoint is at 1, negative 3, and then we have to figure out the missing endpoint. So we can look at the difference between these numbers, like between 1 and 1, that would just be like plus 0. So we could just minus 0 to get 1. And then here, this is going up 4, so we got to go down 4, which would be negative 7, which is the same thing that we got by graphing. And then, of course, on the EOC, you will have like a big sheet of graph paper. Sometimes students run out of that paper. You can always ask for more, like you can use unlimited paper, but nobody's going to stand there like offering you paper, so always ask if you need more paper. Okay, then this one here, it says line segment MN has these endpoints. Point P is on the line segment MN such that it creates a ratio of MP to PN that is 2 to 1. What is the x-coordinate of P? Okay, I put graph paper here. Again, you'd have to actually draw this graph to do this. I'm going to graph the points, negative 7, 10. And then N, negative 1, 1. Okay, I'm going to very precisely graph this line. On a test, you won't have post-it notes, obviously, but you could use your ID to get a very straight line because it'll make this problem so much easier to solve. The more precise your line is, the easier this will be to solve. Also, the smaller your dots are, the more precise your line will be, which is important too. Okay, so we want to break this up into a 2 to 1 ratio to see where P is. 2 to 1 ratio, that would be 3 parts total. So we're going to break this up into 3 parts here, and I'm just looking at where it intersects exactly. It intersects exactly here and here. And I think that's 3 equal parts, but you can verify just by looking at the numbers. It's going down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2, down 3 over 2 each time, so each part is the same length. Okay, then we need to break it up into a 2 to 1 ratio with the 2 starting at the M. So this is 2 parts to 1 part. So that's your 2 to 1 ratio. And then it's saying P breaks it up into the 2 to 1 ratio. So P must be right here. And P is at negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 3, 4. Cool. And the problem asks for what is the x-coordinate of P. Well, the x-coordinate is negative 3. Okay, that's us all. So leave this out on your desk. I'm going to come around and check it. While I come around and check it, I want you to start the thank you note for a teacher. I made a template that you can use if you need help like getting started. I will put this in their boxes during my planning today. And yeah, so you can use a template to get started. You cannot use my template if you want to do your own thing. That's totally cool too. Just make sure it's polite and nice and all that. And then turn it into the basket. I will give you credit for this. And yeah, and then when you're done with this, see, I had a list. Where was it? When you're done with this, work on your weekly Alex, unless you're done with your weekly Alex. Oh, here's my list. Okay. So list is teacher thank you note, turn it into basket, then take a laptop to your seat and finish your weekly Alex. If you're done with your weekly Alex, help one person with one assignment, and then ask to get your phone and vibe. Second period done with Alex is